Hi guys! Beside me you're going to see a kayak that you've not seen in any of my fishing videos before because this is a new kayak for me. Several months ago I was contacted by Old Town Canoe and Kayak and they asked if I would be willing to sort of test drive their new Topwater 120 pedal drive kayak. And I said that I absolutely would. It actually was a bit perfect timing for me. You know, I formerly lived on the west side of the Cascades where I spent most of my time pursuing salmon, ocean, reef fish, kokanee, and rainbow trout. But since moving onto the east side of the mountains, I'm spending a lot more time on flat water, fly fishing for my kayak for trout in some of these high mountain lakes. But also doing a lot more bass fishing, which is great because it's getting back to my roots where I grew up in Kansas bass fishing with my dad, and that's how I got introduced to the sport of fishing. So I've been eager to get a kayak that fits into that fishery a little bit better. Right now I'm using my Hobie Revo primarily, and I can't stand in it, and it doesn't turn as well, so it lacks a lot of the traits of a kayak that I would consider more suited for those fisheries. That being said, I still want to utilize this kayak in a variety of different fisheries, so I'm going to put this kayak through a variety of tests over the next few months, and I'll be posting my reviews of how this kayak performs in sort of classic flat water bass fishing, that type of thing. But I also want to see how well it does trolling and jigging in current on the Columbia River, but also in flat water. So I'm going to try this kayak in a variety of situations and kind of give you guys some honest feedback. I mean, full disclosure, they gave me this kayak, but they didn't ask me to say anything positive about it. They just said, just be honest with your reviews, which is great. Otherwise I wouldn't have taken it, because I'm not a big fan of being forced to say positive things about something that I don't believe in. I work in the sporting goods and fishing retail industry, and one of my strengths I've always thought is that I'm honest with customers about what I think works and doesn't work, and what the strengths and weaknesses of any product are. So I just got this yesterday through the mail, since there are no local vendors for Old Town. So I'm going to just quickly walk through some of the ways that you need to put this kayak together after you receive it. When you receive it, the chair is sort of laid out flat in here. I still have the pedal drive zip tied in here in bubble wrap. It comes in bubble wrap and plastic and cardboard. Full disclosure, my first one that came through actually had a forklift put through it, so they actually had to send me a second boat. I don't think that's Old Town's fault by any means. I've ordered kayaks from Wilderness Systems and also had forklifts put through kayaks. So it's actually the second time I've ordered kayaks through the mail, and on both occasions I got a forklift through the kayak itself. So I'm just going to go through those procedures on what you need to do to put it together. If you're buying this from a retailer, you obviously wouldn't have to worry about that, so you can skip forward. So let's quickly go through that, and then we're going to go through some of the features of this kayak really quick. So the tools you're going to need are a box cutter, and then a Phillips and flathead screwdriver. I think that's all you're going to need. So first thing we need to do is take this bar off. This is actually the bar that's going to slide through the pedal drive and lock it in place here. I need to cut that out, so I'll go ahead and cut these giant industrial zip ties here. Okay, got another one down here. Great. There's a little board right here that's holding everything in place. When it's shipping, it kind of, so the hole can't crush in. So you just need to use a flathead screwdriver to take that out. And come back here. Let's see here. You can see right here, I just need to take these out. It's not going to take very long. There are a couple screws here it looks like I need to save. Okay. Set those aside. Quickly pull this out. toss aside that piece of wood. I think we can get this drive out here. Here we go. Okay. Drive is wrapped up really nicely in bubble wrap. It's very well protected. So, just going to start cutting away. Here's the drive. Boy, it's hefty, for sure. Okay. So it looks like this bar just needs to slide through here. So let me get that done real quick. There we go. Got the drive here lined up. Gonna move this forward, pull this back, and it just slides down in here. See how it fits in here. And this is gonna lock over the top. Looks pretty centered. I'm gonna turn those and then tighten these down. On both sides so that it doesn't slide back and forth here. Okay. And then back here this locks in right there with a bit of a snap. And there's the drive. There you go. Nice. Alright, a couple other things need to be done here. Alright, so that's step 2, so I'm going to do step 3, which is seat installation real quick. So the seat slides back and forth on these, and it looks like what we're going to do is take these out and then slide the seat through those holes there, and then lock it back into place. Let's go ahead and do that. Seems pretty easy. Okay, take that off. Supposed to be almost 100 degrees here today, so I'm ready to get inside the air conditioning right now. But at least the mosquitoes aren't out, so I'll take it. So this just slides over that gear track. Just a matter of lining it up on those gear tracks on both sides. It's going to line up here. You can see that. There's a little pin, you can pull this up. Let's that slide back, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side there. Okay, easy enough. And then just pull both of these up and they slide back to wherever you need it to be. I imagine based on my height, I'm guessing it's going to be right about there for the pedals. It might be a little bit further back, maybe. And then there's some straps underneath that come from the back here, go underneath the chair and lock in. They go over the bar in the back and lock in. Seems easy enough. Okay. Okay, nice. Now let's work on that rudder control. Alright, so we have here the rudder control, which takes 2 different pieces. One is really easy to do and the other is super easy to do. One is the tensioner knob, which I'm going to talk about in a sec. That just screws in here. Nice. And the other is the ball, which comes with, okay, it's like 100 million degrees inside this bag. Okay, so we need those components here. They have one screw with a Loctite on it already, which is a Phillips head. So this actually goes down through there like that. This screws in and then this snaps into the top. So just do that real quick. Easy enough. Now they say you want to put this in tight and then back it off so that the ball free spins. And then you just clip this in. Ooh. Let's see, there's a little groove right there. There we go. So now that ball frees, I can use that for controlling the rudder. And this is the tensioner, which I'll talk about in a sec. Next, we're going to put a paddle clip right here on the outside. Okay, so we're going to put the paddle clip here. So you want to make sure you have the lock up. And then there's some pins on the inside that this thing locks into. So you just push those pins in like that. And then you're going to mount it like this so that the paddle can clip into here and you can pull this up. They give you a couple screws, Phillips head. Go ahead and get that just put in there, the first one. Get the second one. Okay. Easy enough. Okay, cool. There you go. I'll lock that paddle in there. And we're going to test the rudder up, down, and controls just real quick. So the levers here, you just pull on this lever, which should deploy the rudder. Look at that. Beautiful. That worked great. Just the right amount of tension. And then should be able to turn it. Yep. That looks good. Angry chicken. Great. So boat's ready to go. Let's do a quick walkthrough of this. A couple other things that are included in here are a couple scupper plugs if you need them, and two little pins that are actually breakaway pins. So if you happen to run into something with the pedal drive, rather than the pedal drive snapping, the pins break away and you don't damage the drive. So let's do a quick walkthrough after I get this cleaned up. Okay, let's go ahead and do a quick walkthrough of this kayak. This is an Old Town canoe and kayak Topwater 120 PDL. PDL stands for their pedal drive system. So this is a 12-foot long kayak. It weighs 106 pounds, fully rigged out. I assume if you take out the drive and chair, you're probably looking at closer to that 95-ish range, a little bit lower. It has a 500-pound capacity. It is 36 inches wide, so there's a lot of space inside this thing. It's going to be very different from anything I've ever fished out of before. So let's just start with some features and walk through it. One thing I will say, Old Town, they've been around a long, long time. They've been around since the 1800s, which I don't think I know of any other kayak company that's been around that long. I don't think they were making kayaks back in those days, mostly canoes, but that does say something about the company. Okay, got a drain plug here on the end. Always got to have one somewhere. First thing I like about this kayak is it does have a integrated plastic handle rather than a rope handle. Rope handles are terrible because they always grab your lure. It always gets hung up there. It's just a nuisance. They rot and have to be replaced. This one doesn't have that problem. It has a hatch for accessing the front. Reportedly, you can do all of this with one hand. Let's try that. Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah, there you go. One hand. Okay, proven wrong. Nice rubber gaskets there. I don't think you're gonna get any water penetration. Smells like new kayak on the inside. Let's see if I can close it with one hand. Can I? Yes, I can. That's easy. That's easy. Great. It's got two little slats on both sides here. That is for laying your rod down when you're tying something up or you got a fish. You can lay the rod down in here and it's not going to bang around, or you can have two rods ready to go in the front, which is nice. Coming back, we have the pedal drive system. Their PDL drive. You can see right there, PDL. So this is a prop drive system. You can go forward and instantly go reverse, changing the direction of the props. This just locks in using these locks here, which allows you to, and there's another lock back here, that allows you to lift this up and out and rest there. I think you have to have it locked in the front. to allow it to rest. Let's try that. Since I'm figuring this out with you guys as I'm doing this. Yeah, okay, that's how that works. Nice. There we go. Snaps into there. Now I see. So that, if you're going through somewhere shallow, you can pull that drive up. I've got some scupper drainage holes here, and these are your locks here. So let's go and pull that back down. See if I can do that. You really do have to kind of pop it or give it some force to pop it out of that. There it goes. Nice. And this is another thing that you have to be aware of. You have to make sure that the props are in a vertical position before you can lower it. So, not the most convenient, but it is what it is given the design. It's got some foam here for your grip, and then this locks in. And there's a little storage area here. Look at that, spring loaded. Put your phone in there, or whatever. Storage, tackle. That's kind of nice. I like that. It's good to have some storage. Little bungees there too. Okay, so one of the best things about the PDL drive is its warranty. It has the industry-leading warranty on its pedal drive. It's 5 years. That's very impressive. I've owned 3 pedal-driven kayaks. All of them, I've had major malfunctions in the pedal drive system within 2 years. That being said, I'm somebody who fishes 2 or 3 times a week. I put a lot of hours and time on my pedal drives, so maybe I'm just exceeding what they expect out of it. But there's no caveats, it's just 5 years. That's pretty impressive. The hull has a lifetime warranty. You really can't beat that. I don't know any kayak company that does. Alright, so let's go back. We got 2 integrated gear tracks. I'm gonna guess that's about 18 inches of gear track space, so that's nice. I don't have to worry about it. I already have gear track for all my other kayaks, so getting this thing ready to go fishing is gonna be super easy. 2 rubber tackle storage areas here, which is really nice. Don't have to worry about your hooks hanging up on it. It's got a little bit of padding here for you to stand on. Self-draining scuppers, which is nice. This is the rudder control system here. You see it turns left, right to turn it. And then you can also adjust the tension on this. So this allows you to actually lock the rudder in position and you can't turn. So if you're just trekking for a long way across the lake, you can just lock the rudder in. You don't have to fight the rudder as you're in the waves or current, which will often turn your rudder. This allows you just to have that in one position. Alright, the chair itself is called their Element Air seat. It's very lightweight. It looks like it breathes really well. That being said, I did read a lot of reviews about this kayak, and the chair was the biggest complaint. Some people have had problems with stitching coming out. I'm not sure if that's going to happen here, if maybe they remedied that. We'll find out. I'm going to put it through the tests and see how it goes. It seems pretty comfortable. I fish where it's really hot, so having a lot of airflow around me is a good thing. Let's jump down to the bottom here and just take a look at the bottom of this kayak. This is a tri-hull design, so it's very stable. Tracks very well. And then if you go up here underneath the front, you'll see a skid plate here, which is nice. If it hits anything, but then right behind the skid plate is a mount for your fish finder, which you can then run the transducer cord forward up and through this specialized scupper right here, and then up to the top, where right here you can bring that up and then you can wire a fish finder up here, or you can run the wire internally and have it come out back to your gear track. That's kind of nice. Okay, let's continue back here. Now this kayak has 3 rod holders. It has 2 vertical rod holders right behind the seat, like a lot of standard kayaks do. So that's nothing new. But it has a 3rd one right here, which is forward facing, which I love. So if you catch a fish, you can stick this rod in the rod holder forward facing, Then you have your line come down, you can work your fish here, get the hooks out, or you can tie up a rig or anything. I love that feature. That's going to be a huge... So I'm always laying my rods out on my lap, and they're almost always falling out of the kayak. And it's just a pain in the butt. So that's actually a huge thing for me. I really love that feature. Big storage space back here with bungees, self-draining scuppers. Really nothing too novel there. Here's the handle. It's weird that the handle's offset, but when you pick up the kayak, it's fairly balanced. I'm not sure how they attained that, but it works. So I'm not going to complain about it, even though it looks weird. And it does provide some opportunities to mount something here like a power pole or something along that lines. Flipping to the other side here, instead of having a forward-facing rod holder here, they have the rudder control system. And this thing is so much better than a rope pull system like I have on my current kayaks, because those ropes, they wear out, they snap. I've replaced these rudder up-down assemblies a couple times now, and I hate doing it. Everything here is protected down inside, so you just simply pull this lever here and the rudder comes up. Look at that. God, that's great. I really like that feature. You can have it in the up position, and for travel it has a little bungee that walks over the top of it there. So, which isn't, I can do that one hand too. There you have it. That's the Old Town Topwater 120 PDL. Like I said, there's some things I like about it, things I don't already, but I want to give it a fair shake before I go over those things. That being said, I'm really excited to get it out on the water and give it an honest go in our Pacific Northwest fisheries and see how it performs here, you know, for salmon, steelhead, walleye, bass, and hopefully at some point I'll be able to get it offshore too. So if you have any questions about this kayak, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to put a link to a description below if you want to find more information. That'll take you to Old Town's website. Feel free to make suggestions on what kind of tests you want me to put this kayak through. And one of the things I know I'm going to do right off the top is I have to compare the PDL against the Mirage Drive. It's just really important to me because I've been a Mirage Drive user for so long with Hobie that I really need to see how this drive compares in a head-to-head matchup. Until next time, I'll see you out in the water, wear your PFD, and be safe. Ciao.